Zhang Heng's seismoscope was an ancient device that was invented to detect earthquakes. The legendary Zhang Heng was a Chinese polymath, scientist and statesman. He was also arguably one of the most talented people ever. His multiple talents have even seen him compared to the great Italian artist Leonardo da Vinci. And it's easy to see why. Historical documents revealed that Zhang was a widely respected man who had great success as an astronomer, mathematician, inventor, hydraulic engineer, geographer, cartographer, ethnographer, seismologist, poet, artist, philosopher, politician, and literary scholar. His device was an ornate, giant bronze barrel decorated with dragons, believed to have been made around AD 132. It's believed to be the first earthquake-detecting device in history, with an approximate age of around 2,000 years old. The mystery of this device came when modern-day scientists tried to unpuzzle how it worked. The 6-foot diameter instrument consisted of 8 dragons with snake-like bodies facing down along the outside of the barrel. These 8 dragons were representative of the primary 8 compass directions, and each of the dragons' mouths was a small bronze ball. Beneath these dragons sat 8 bronze-made toads with their mouths wide open to receive the balls. According to Zhang, whenever there was going to be an earthquake, a bronze ball would drop into the mouth of the corresponding toad, effectively indicating the direction of the earthquake. However, the exact mechanism that caused the small bronze ball to fall in the event of an earthquake is not known. Several theories have been floated, including one saying that a simple free-swinging pendulum would swing in the direction of the seismic shock, effectively triggering one of the 8 dragons to open its mouth and release the bronze ball. Zhang's earthquake detection device was first met with skepticism, but it proved its worth around AD 138, when it detected an earthquake that happened in the western part of the Han dynasty. It was not felt immediately at the site of the device, but the quake was confirmed by messengers seeking aid several days after it occurred. Despite all the records and descriptions of the device, there are actually no physical remains of it, or it is yet to be located. Scholars and seismologists alike have reasons to believe that the device existed, and more importantly, actually worked. The conclusion was reached because some of the principles behind the theories of how the device may have worked aren't that different from today's versions, only this one was created almost 2,000 years ago, during a time when we thought people didn't even really understand what an earthquake was. Greek fire was a mysterious medieval incendiary weapon that gave a great battle advantage to Byzantine naval forces in the Middle Ages. According to researchers, records show that the unique weapon was developed in the year 672 and was mostly used to burn enemy ships. Consisting of a flammable compound released by a flame-throwing weapon, Greek fire was a tightly guarded military secret, a secret which is still lost to this very day. The mysterious and dangerous substance also went by other Byzantine names, some of which translate to war fire, liquid fire, sticky fire, and sea fire. What's particularly good about finding these other, less frequently used names is that they help illustrate physical characteristics a little more, which may point historians in the right direction to discover how it was made. What we do know is that Greek fire was a devastatingly dangerous and destructive substance that was easily ignited and would continue burning even on the surface of water. There are, of course, many theories put forward from historians and chemists who suggest that the weapon was likely made from a combination of naphtha, a flammable liquid hydrocarbon mixture, and calcium oxide, which is commonly known as quicklime. From what we've read, when both are mixed, they can ignite when contact with water is made. Previously, it was the assumption that one of the key ingredients to Greek fire was potassium nitrate, also known as saltpeter, which is used in the manufacture of gunpowder. The original assumption came from the descriptions of Greek fire being referred to as thunder and smoke, which led researchers to believe the texts were describing explosions. This assumption eventually fell apart because there is no evidence of saltpeter being used in Europe or the Middle East before the 1200s. The chemists of the Byzantine Empire were able to apply Greek fire into a number of other inflammatory weapons, such as these ceramic grenades, and other applications included projectiles and handheld devices, all of which gave the Byzantine military a fierce reputation and a clear edge over their enemies. And while the ingredients and methods used have been forgotten over time, the devastation they caused never will be. During the Crusades of the Middle Ages, returning European soldiers spoke of the Islamic warriors and the blades that they carried into battle. The sharpness of these blades became legendary. It was said that they could slice through a hair carried by the wind, and even bend to an angle of 90 degrees and return back with no damage. The metal used in these swords became known as Damascus Steel. These swords are characterized by their distinctive patterns of banding and mottling, similar in appearance to flowing water or a rose pattern. Although it takes its name from one of the largest cities in Syria, it was originally created in India and the Middle East, but mostly traded in Damascus. Some believe the actual age of Damascus steel is unknown, as it was only introduced to the Western world between 200 and 400 AD, but this does not mean it was created during that same period of time. Even though there have been many advances in material sciences over the years, the exact methods and techniques used by the Islamic swordsmiths to gain such a sharp blade still remain an unknown mystery. For some time now, modern-day blacksmiths have at least known that the blades were forged from crucible steel, which is created by melting iron with a mixture of plant matter, but the prized and distinctively wavy surface of Damascus steel has always failed to be reproduced using this method. There are, however, modern-day techniques that recreate a similar appearance. This forgotten knowledge has led us to label Damascus steel as a lost technology, one that man has forgotten the exact tools, materials, and processes we need in order to recreate it. One day someone might discover records detailing how such blades were created, but until that ever happens, historians will only have their theories and experiments. The Vikings are known as some of the most fierce warriors in history, but it's often neglected that they were also great explorers and traders with a vast knowledge of navigational skills. The reign of the Vikings was long before the navigational compass was even invented. So how were they able to navigate so well? The first answer is the sun and the stars, like many other seafarers of the time and long before. But did the Vikings gain the edge with a mythical tool that wouldn't be out of place in a Tolkien or J.K. Rowling book? Old texts and stories speak of the use of sunstones to navigate. By holding one of these seemingly magic crystals up to the sky, exploring Vikings were able to find their way, even in poor weather conditions and low light. With magic like this on their side, was it any wonder that the Vikings travelled so far and thrived as much as they did? It turns out, this isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. You see, what may be considered as magic to one person is science to another. It's been shown that two different crystalline rocks, iolite and Iceland spar, which is crystallized calcium carbonate, can interact with the polarization of light when it passes through the stones, This means that the Vikings would have actually been able to use the depolarization effect of the stones to determine the position of the sun in overcast weather, or even when the sun was beyond the horizon. This allowed them to navigate better than anyone else at the time, whether through overcast terrain or wide open seas, allowing them to broaden their horizons and be at the forefront of global exploration, even setting foot in North America over 500 years before Christopher Columbus. In recent times, a piece of Iceland spar was recovered from an Elizabethan shipwreck near the UK's Channel Island of Alderney. The ship sank in 1592, around 400 years after the magnetic compass came into use in medieval Europe. This suggests that the stone held an important place as a navigational aid for quite a while, before being lost to time and relegated to legend. There are some discoveries that have remained a mystery to researchers for centuries, one of which is known as the Thevoynich Manuscript. The handwritten and illustrated book is drafted in a system that appears meaningless to some who have studied it. It's believed to have been written in 15th century northern Italy, and since its discovery in 1912, codebreakers and linguistic experts have been trying to decode it, but so far none have been successful. It's named after Wilfrid Michael Voynich, a Polish revolutionary and antiquarian who brought it in the early 20th century. Currently, the mysterious 240-page book rests in the library of Yale University. The Thevoynich Manuscript is heavily illustrated with weird pictures, such as unknown plants, strange objects, and zodiac symbols. In 2009, scientists at the University of Arizona performed radiocarbon dating on the manuscripts covering vellum and reported that they were 95% confident it was written between 1404 and 1438. If the University of Arizona report is anything to go by, it would mean the Thevoynich Manuscript could be over 600 years old. There have been numerous translations floated around the Thevoynich Manuscript's content. Several professional and amateur codebreakers, cryptographers, linguists, and historians have all tried to decipher the book's contents, but often they give conflicting interpretations. However, some of the analyses came to similar conclusions and indicated that the book's contents fall into a few different categories. For example, there appears to be information about herbal medicine, indicated by the images of unknown plants. There also appears to be pharmaceutical information due to labelled images of plant extracts and even illustrations of medicine jars. Thirdly, the presence of symbols of time and zodiac signs are believed to indicate astronomical information. There are also additional circular diagrams and 6 pages that contain pictures of connected islands and a volcano. This is believed to indicate cosmological information. According to a theory from history researcher and writer Nicholas Gibbs, the mysterious book was probably created and customized by one person who was devoted to handling women's medicine, indicated by the many images of the female form. Despite all the studies and research put into the book, the Thevoynich Manuscript still remains one of the biggest mysteries in cryptology to this very day, all thanks to its strange drawings and elegant writings, which are written in this unknown and coded language.